Game day brings its ups and downs, celebration and disappointment, anxiety and relief, friends and enemies. You can always argue over who should have won, but everyone can agree on great food. Appetizers, entrees, drinks, party platters, or even the taste of sweet victory. There's something for every season at Eat With Us restaurants.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 10.
Well, welcome in here to the Room to Room Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Gabe for Mississippi Live Weather at 10, and we are tracking another calm night with cold temperatures heading into the start of our Friday. That highlights the first of our headlines as we track out that forecast. Of course, those cold temperatures, or should I say extreme cold, continues tonight and really for the start of our Friday morning. Heading out the door, going to be a frigid Friday forecast. Limited moisture is on the way for Friday, an emphasis on limited. I almost wanted to say almost zero. It's very limited in that fashion. We'll track that out here in just a moment. And we're continuing to look at that. Another fall off is coming. Another fall off being those temperatures. So if it feels cold to you right now, I feel bad heading into next week because we're going to see significantly colder air move into North Mississippi. So honestly, it's a time to enjoy the here and now. 28 degrees won't sound too bad once we get into parts of our work week next week. 11 p.m. 28, by 2 a.m. 27 degrees, still remaining in the upper 20s by early hours of our Friday. But as we get into the day, sunshine dominates our skies and warms us up nicely back into the upper 40s by those lunchtime hours. So it's shaping up to be a good forecast, but those breezy conditions making it feel that much colder heading out the door. Now, right now, it's not too breezy. Those breezy conditions actually move in early parts of our Friday and even by midday. So 27 degrees, still feeling like 27 in Smithville because there is just no wind, making that chill in the air like what we had this morning. Dew point still at 19 degrees. We're going to look at those dry conditions in just a moment, but definitely enjoying that as we get into our Thursday night. 27 degrees in Batesville, Panola County, showing off with a beautiful sight out there. Folks still active this evening in Batesville. Dew point still at 21 degrees, so not tracking any showers overnight. Going to be dry as can be across the Magnolia State. Winona, Montgomery County, slightly warmer, 34 degrees, feels like 30 degrees. Notice what they have that other locations don't. A little bit of a wind coming out of the south, about 5 miles an hour right now, and knocking those feels like values to 30 degrees. So a 4-degree swing from actual temperatures to feels like values, and that is just based off of a 5-mile-an-hour gust. Imagine what it'll be heading into our forecast tomorrow. Well, you don't have to imagine. We'll look at that in just a moment. Temperatures across the Magnolia State, across the northern half, should I say, 25 in Bruce, 27 New Albany, Tupelo, and Amory, 27 around Eupora, but then look out west, 33 Tunica, 35 Clarksdale, 36 Greenville. So milder conditions. I hate using that word. Milder. It's not really mild. It's still cold, but mild, relatively speaking, from out west to what we're experiencing out east. So take your blessings, folks in Cleveland and Greenville. It could always be worse. Our Mississippi, or should I say our Mama Justice Doppler radar, not tracking any moisture. That's been the case all day long. Putting that on that 12-hour loop. Haven't seen anything in regards to rainfall across North Mississippi. Continues to just be those dry skies as we get into the late evening hours and overnight forecast. Keeping with that forecast and looking at surface analysis, you can see where our next weather maker is. Going to be up north all the way into Iowa, Missouri, and Kansas. That has some showers on the backside that are continuing to develop, some of those being snow showers. But we also are watching a little bit of this moisture in this warm sector. That warm sector allowing for that moisture to build into the area, but because it's still cold in the warm sector or the moist sector, that's why we're allowing for some of those showers to take place in St. Louis, up around Chicago and Madison, Wisconsin. So that's where we expect the snowfall to be, and not too far away from us. I mean, we're talking on that leading edge, 120 miles? So it's about a 2-hour drive if you want to go north and see some of those flakes. But as we get into the rest of our forecast, there is still some snow potential, but even those chances are further south and east. Looking at that future cast, those showers do try to inch closer to North Mississippi, but look at the changeover that we're seeing. Those blues getting some greens as it moves into Paducah, Kentucky and Jackson, Tennessee. Reason why? It is just warmer on the south side of that system. So that's why we're getting some more rainfall rather than it being snowfall. It's just a result of us being warmer down south and them being colder up north. high pressure cycles out of the area, and that's where we could get some of that moisture back into the forecast by 6 a.m. on our Friday. Big reason why that's happening? Well, that moisture is rebuilding over the top of North Mississippi. You have these southerly winds kicking that moisture back into North Mississippi and allowing for that moisture to rebuild in our forecast. So these dew points in the teens, not going to continue into tomorrow as that moisture rebuilds, and it will actually allow some showers potentially to form, but we do expect that to primarily be with the form of cloud cover. That frontal boundary pushing right overhead, giving the potential of a few showers in far northwest Mississippi, Tate, Tunica, DeSoto County. Some of the counties we're watching out for those showers by noontime. And as we get into that afternoon forecast, that front continues to build across the Mississippi River, and that's where we could see some increased chances for our Friday afternoon. Right now, those chances very limited, like we talked about a moment ago, limited chances of moisture, but the cold, that continues to be the story. 29 degrees to start the day, reaching into the mid-50s by the afternoon. That says those milder conditions move in, but yes, the chance of moisture moving in as well with the 10% chances into those late evening hours, even right on time for our game of the week. But those breezy conditions also sticking around by midday, going to see 10-mile-an-hour breezes out of the south. That's also allowing for some of that moisture to rebuild in that forecast and some of that warmer air to move into North Mississippi. So coming up here in the next 60, what are we looking at? Well, temperatures, they're the big headline heading into the latter part of this week and into our weekend. We're going to be tracking the latest on those live from the Room to Room Weather Center and also tracking out that limited moisture ahead. All the latest details you need to know coming up on Mississippi Live Weather at 10.
Out with the old and in with the new. It's time to save big at Room to Room's New Year's sale. Store-wide markdowns 50 to 70% off. No tax, 48-month special financing. It's a new year at Room to Room Furniture in Tupelo. There's no place like home.
When choosing a dentist for our family, Tupelo Smiles was the answer for us. They greet us with warm smiles right when we walk in the door, and they make us feel so welcome. We love Tupelo Smiles.
My biggest fear in the middle of my addiction was that I would never be able to get over it and that my kids wouldn't have a father. I started thinking, you know what? This isn't my story. For the longest time, fear held me back from ultimately being who I wanted to. I had to become a better man to be a better father. It's important to me that my kids are empowered and truly believe that if they can think it, they can do it.
Right now, from the Room to Room Weather Center, here's meteorologist Gabe Maynor.
Well, folks, it is officially Friday as we head into those overnight hours and into our Friday morning, and it's going to be a beautiful forecast at that. Folks in Noxubee County, Macon, Mississippi, 28 degrees right now with dew points around 21 degrees, no wind in the forecast, so wind chill not going to be as much of a factor as what we had this time yesterday and really into this morning. So fortunately, that taking a step back and making it slightly more bearable heading out the door for our Friday. And not just in Noxubee County, we're continuing to look out there in Greenville, a little bit more breezy. So these 36-degree temperatures feeling like 29 degrees. So that 9-mile-an-hour wind, that's making all the difference and dropping it below freezing for those feels-like values or for those wind chill values. As we move a little bit more up north, you still see those breezy conditions. So even there, a little bit more of a mild forecast, but those feels-like values dropping it well below freezing. And if you're doubting the winds, yeah, Old Glory letting us know it's a breezy forecast in Cleveland. But a big thank you for everyone who's tuning in to the late night hours of our Thursday, keeping you updated on that forecast. Nothing you need to know up in the sky. Our mom adjusted Doppler radar giving us the good news, and that's those dry conditions over the top of North Mississippi right now and into those overnight hours as well. But like I mentioned at the beginning, temperatures, the big story heading into tonight. Right now, we're sitting in the mid to upper 20s along the Alabama state line, working our way out west, right above that freezing threshold. But don't worry, those winds going to make it chilly for you guys as well. So everyone feeling around the mid to upper 20s, even if your temperatures don't exactly tell that story. Zooming things out, we can see the cold definitely out there towards the east, but some more mild temperatures moving into the forecast out west, that gradually working its way into the region, not for long, but for a brief moment for our Friday. As we look at those temperature trends, there's those yellows and oranges showing up, showing that a little bit of a warming trend. And so this 12-degree difference that we're seeing right now in Tupelo will gradually work into some of those yellows and oranges as we get into our Friday. But again, not sticking around forever. Multiple systems heading through this weekend are going to drop our temperatures significantly. You ready? Well, whether you like it or not, it's going to be happening. And taking a look at those dew points, like we mentioned a moment ago, it is still a dry pattern over there in the eastern part of the United States. But looking out west, we're seeing some 30s back into the forecast. That's not a significant increase in dew points, but nonetheless, it is a little bit higher than where we sit right now, showing that moisture is trying to return to our pattern. So midnight tonight, 27 degrees, but as we build into our Friday morning, 29 degrees heading out the door, partly cloudy skies though, and those clouds, a sign of that moisture rebuilding into the area and also a sign of the potential for some light showers by the afternoon. So here we get a look at our overnight forecast on Futurecast. A few cirrus clouds working their way through North Mississippi, but no rainfall going to be attached to those, just basically trying to appear in the sky. Now, I know you see the greens. Our moisture has not rebuilt by the time we're getting to 2 or 3 a.m., so anything that is moving into the area going to be more elevated and nothing is going to be produced on the ground. So Friday, 6 a.m., dry forecast, but a cold one at that. 26 Bruce, Eupora, 26 New Albany, 26 around Macon, 25 Amory, and 24 for folks in Booneville. We are still seeing at freezing or slightly above for folks in Belzona, Cleveland, and Greenville. So, hey, it's a cold forecast, but it's just slightly below what we'd expect for this time of year. And as we look at wind chill, playing more of a factor out west as we drop those freezing or slightly above freezing temperatures all the way into the upper 20s for feels like values. But out west, or out east, should I say, look at the drop. We're talking about feels like values potentially in the teens for northwest Alabama. So cold air is in the forecast. Make sure to layer up those kids heading out the door for their Friday day at school. It's the end of the week, guys. That's something to be excited about, but make sure to stay safe in all of this cold weather. Drop off 55 degrees. There's a little bit of those partly cloudy skies. Potential at a brief shower, not an impossibility, but those impacts going to primarily be a sprinkle here, a sprinkle there. Not going to be significant. Our Futurecast showing exactly that. Friday's forecast, as you can see, starting out dry, breezy conditions out of the south, so that wind chill will gradually play more of a factor as we get into mid to late morning. And as we get into our Friday afternoon, you can see some of that moisture moving into the far northwest sections of Mississippi. That's going to be some of those light showers that are trying to move into the area, attached to that frontal boundary as well. Those showers do try to continue to move into the area by the time we get into mid to late afternoon, and even as we get into those evening hours, still seeing a little bit of that moisture stick around. But partly cloudy skies, that's driving our forecast. I promise I did not get attacked. I just dropped the remote. Where'd it go? All right, we're still in one piece. Woo, let's get loose. High temperatures on your Friday. You can definitely see that it's going to be a warm forecast. 56 degrees Tupelo, same thing Water Valley, 60 in Greenwood, and 61 right around Kosciuszko. So this, not a warm forecast, but warmer from where things have been the past couple of days, including right now for your Thursday. So as we get into our high school game of the week, Tishomingo County taking on North Pontotoc in North Pontotoc. Our game of the week, we are tracking those cooler conditions, but temperature-wise or rainfall-wise, decent chance at maybe a brief shower there in North Pontotoc County. But we're continuing to watch that here in the Room to Room Weather Center. We're going to have those highlights. We're going to have our spirit squads. We're going to have our cheer squads as well. If you've not already voted, go vote right now on our Chief Meteorologist Matt Lobon's Facebook page and make sure to decide your winner as we get into that Friday broadcast. Friday at 6 is when we decide those winners. So excited to bring that to you. And again, a big thank you to the folks at Casey Lott at Langston and Lott for providing this forecast for us and presenting our high school coverage all season long. As we get a look at Futurecast, continue to watch that front swing on through and give us dry air on the backside. And that's really where things will sit heading into our Saturday. Midnight hours, not tracking much of anything. A calmer wind out of the northwest, but it is going to be a dry forecast for the start of our Saturday. If we look down south, and this is something to pay attention to, it's the moisture. And this is the latest model run of our HRRR, updating you on some of their snowfall potential. Now, this is one of our shorter range models just because it only goes about 48 hours of data before it runs out. And so this is our first look at some of those snowfall potential, or some of that snowfall potential as we get into our Saturday. So starting out today, it is going to be cold, but right around freezing for folks in New Albany, Tupelo, and Amory, 29 Bruce and Water Valley, and 32 towards Clarksdale. But these temperatures, they warm up quickly throughout the day, and so we're not going to see these temperatures remain below freezing for long. So any chance of moisture that we do have still going to primarily come in rainfall form. So zooming things out once again, we're continuing to see that front move right across the southeast and give us a chance at a few showers and some snowfall potential as well. But as we take a look at that forecast once again, we're in a very dry pattern for our Saturday morning. By the time we get into Saturday at lunch, there's that moisture that's trying to move into the forecast. and those are just in the form of some light showers across northwest Mississippi and even right along folks along Highway 14 down south in Kosciuszko, Louisville, Macon, and Chula. Those are going to really be impactful, and with temperatures sitting above freezing, we don't expect any of this to be frozen precipitation, and our HRRR model furthering that fact right there. So let's keep our forecast moving into the afternoon, and there's your chance at some rainfall. But as this weak frontal boundary pushes on through, it's going to drive that moisture further towards the south. And as we get into that 6 o'clock hour, and again, it's not going to go further into those overnight hours, still primarily seeing rainfall. So where some of our long track models were trying to hint at some snow, definitely downtrending from what we saw even a few hours ago, but that's what we expected here on Mississippi Live Weather. We weren't blown away with the atmospheric pattern. It wasn't cold enough. It just wasn't really setting the scene as we'd like it to. Now, don't get me wrong. As we move south and east, we do expect this area in southern Alabama and southern Georgia to be getting some of those light accumulations, maybe up to an inch in some spots. But that's still a forecast that is trending all sorts of directions. But where we've seen those line up, it's been pretty consistent in those areas. South Mississippi has been downtrending significantly. So anyone that was heading down to Hattiesburg, I saw some folks mentioning it at 5 and 6, trying to take a road trip down there. Cancel the road trip. You're just going to be getting rainfall. And we've gotten plenty of that in North Mississippi here in recent days. So high temperatures, as you get a look at that forecast, still going to be on the colder side, only topping out in the low to mid 40s there in Holly Springs, Oxford, Boonville, and New Albany, 45 in Hamilton. But as we work our way south, 49 Aliceville, Columbus, Macon, 47 Eupora, and the big 50 down there in Itala County. All right, let's keep this moving. And of course, this is our future cast working into our apologize there. I wanted to drag this out. This is going to be our Saturday. And as we get a look right there, there's that first front that's moving through on our Friday. Some of those projections a little bit more significant, as you can see right there over the top of North Mississippi. I don't believe it's going to be that heavy, but the chance at a few sprinkles not impossible. And as we get into that future cast, this is, of course, our strike model, and it does show that potential for any winter precipitation. And as we get that secondary system that starts to develop and build in some of that moisture right along parts of Tennessee and Kentucky and up there towards the Carolinas, that same front is going to drive south and give those chances of rainfall even into Georgia and Alabama. But look at the time, 9 p.m. on Saturday. What were some of our long track models saying at 9 p.m. on Saturday? They were saying snow right along coastal regions, and strike model has definitely downtrended that significantly. And as you can see, working our way into 2:30 a.m. on Sunday, we're basically fully cleared out of Alabama, but there's that little bit of flurries that are starting to develop on the east side of Atlanta. I'm not blown away by that, but this is exactly what we expected. It just wasn't going to verify with how warm those temperatures were. So any clickbait social media that you may have seen, there's a reason why we call them clickbait, because they're trying to get you to click. They're baiting you into it because they're showing you what you want to see, not what will actually be seen. So make sure to see make sure to follow the right people to make sure that you stay informed on the truth and don't get into the weeds on what could be a disappointing forecast as we get into our Saturday night and Sunday morning. And of course, Mississippi Live Weather, I'm biased, but I also know that it's the truth, that we will give you the facts and on what to expect going forward. Now, as we get into those Sunday morning hours, those snowfall potential increases there towards the Carolinas and up around Virginia, and a few back-end snow showers, not impossible for our Sunday morning. It will be cold enough by then. Look at the air in North Mississippi. We're talking, I know it's a little bit smaller, but low to mid 20s, so that's definitely cold enough to support some of those snow flurries. Unfortunately, in North Mississippi, it's just going to be too dry by then. So we're not lining up. No snow potential in North Mississippi, and really none in South Mississippi either. And as we get into that extended pattern, we're talking Sunday morning. There the rain chances go, and yeah, there they go. Wave goodbye. Because again, like we were saying, this is not a system that we expect any snowfall to be accumulating here in North Mississippi. Temperature forecast though, here's our guarantee. It's gonna be cold. Colder than where we sit right now, mid-20s for our Friday, low 30s on Saturday, and then we're back to the low 20s and teens into parts of our work week next week. So if you think it's cold enough right now, you're in for a doozy as we get into the start of next week. High temperatures follow that same trend, a more mild day in the grand scheme of things for our Friday, but significantly dropping as we get into Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Wednesday and Thursday, things start to climb back to what we'd expect this time of year, and we'll get back to those averages at some point beyond that Thursday forecast. So as we take a look at our 7-day forecast, limited chances of moisture on our Friday. Temperature-wise, mid-20s heading out the door, mid-50s by the afternoon. Saturday, continuing to see low 30s on our Saturday morning, mid-40s by the afternoon. Sunday, though, once all of those fronts fully clear, significantly colder. 21 degrees heading out the door, 36 by the afternoon. say a prayer for those pastors out there that got to wake up at 6 or 7 a.m. Even waking up for the second service, if your church does have that, it's going to come at a cost because temperatures are still going to be sitting below freezing. Monday afternoon, they do trend a little bit better, 43 degrees, but then we drop off once again Tuesday morning, 18 heading out the door with 39 as those highs. Beyond that point, things are starting to trend in the right direction, and as we head into our game of the week next week, might be tracking a few scattered showers with our average temperatures returning to the forecast. So, taking a look at the chat, Caleb's here. Caleb, what are you doing here? Shouldn't you be in bed for class? Hang on. What are you talking about? Spoon under my pillow. Hang on. What does that mean? Is that one of the ways that you get snow? Is that one of the what's the word I'm looking for? One of the legends that is the lore of how you get snow in Mississippi. Folks asking in the chat, is it going to be snow this weekend? No, not in Mississippi. Not in North Mississippi for sure. Pat, I will not be at the court tomorrow night. Matt's going out there. He's going to be shooting some highlights with our Ethan Foster. I'll be fronting those highlights at 10 o'clock tomorrow night, so excited to do that. Excited to see who comes out on top. But no, tomorrow, I think it's wise for my body that it doesn't go hit the court tomorrow, because who knows what would happen. Because when you put a basketball in my hands, magic happens, and it may be a bad magic at that point. Okay, Caleb said it's a good luck charm to get snow. So he is gabbing with Gabe. Yes, Caleb, welcome to the Gabbing with Gabe session. This is what happens late at our 10 o'clock hour. Folks like sticking around, and I love talking with them. So Caleb should join us more often. But put the spoon under the pillow, whatever you want to do to make it happen. You're the meteorologist, right? All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up because I know that I'm tired, and I know folks out there are as well. Friday's tomorrow night, or Friday is tomorrow, and we're excited about that forecast. May stay up a little bit later because, hey, it's Friday night. What better thing to do on Mississippi Live Weather at 10? All right, for tonight, what I need you guys to do is download that Mississippi Live Weather app, free and available on iOS and Android. Has our full broadcast on the schedule at 6:37 and 7:30 with meteorologist Maggie McCauley, and we will be back at 5, 6, and 10. Live from our game of the week in North Pontotoc. Excited to bring you guys those highlights. Those will be coming up at 10 o'clock. Do not forget to go vote for your Spirit Squad and your Cheer Squad so we can figure out which school won the battle before the game has even started. That vote finalizes at 6 o'clock, and of course we'll have them as well being featured in our 10 o'clock broadcast. We cannot wait to see you guys there. I see, shout out Amanda, it's called A Wives' Tale. Yes, that was what I was looking for. Thank you so much. You guys have a good night and have a fantastic, frigid Friday ahead.
March 24th, 2023 was a normal Friday. You know, we knew the weather was not good, but we needed to take shelter, and we didn't have shelter. My husband and almost 2-year-old daughter, Ethan and Riley, they did lose their lives in the storm. We're still recovering from it. We'll always be recovering from it. Matt Lawpon cares about the community. He's not just there to collect a paycheck. I feel like Matt Lawpon has proven himself trustworthy.